Hello everyone, good evening. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. As we talk in the crisis situation across the global, we all know that we are all locked down. All business have been shut down, and we are unable to do anything from as usual. But the world believes that we will recover from this situation, and we will move across and back to our business, back to our life, back to our freedom to go out and enjoy the life that we have in this scenario. So with that confidence, now the question is in everybody's mind that when we are going back to normal, when we are going to go to business, especially from the business aspect of that, the business has been stopped. Now, when we will go back to the business, when we will start the business again, restart the business again, and how we are going to handle that. And so much financial loss, employment loss, and other things have happened because of this COVID situation. So everybody's mind is that, when we will go back to the normal life. So that's where, especially small, medium business are the biggest impact side. So it is very important for them to understand what needs to be done after this COVID, and they have to prepare for that. This webinar is very focused towards the small, medium business and how they can, kick off or restart their business after the COVID situation. So with that in the context, just a brief introduction about us. We are Factna, an industrial IoT company, and our focus is more on the industrial IoT and IoT applications. Our product and platforms are very targeted towards small, medium business and helping them to achieve the IoT-based value through the technology. We are a technology startup company. We have been innovating last 2 years in investing and innovating in industrial IoT based platform and solution. We felt that the IoT market is more towards enterprises, and we want to take this solution achievable, reachable for the small business, small and medium industrial businesses. Therefore, we are we are building product and applications that are easy to accommodate by the small and medium business. And we have a set of products that we are working on. We have already launched our Industrial IoT platform. We also have application systems that we built based on IoT solutions. We are continuing to invest in building more and more products as to address a specific industry. That's our background. Let's get into the topic of the impact, right? So everyone knows that personally, as we lock down and we stay home safer, hopefully everybody is doing good, everybody is safe. But this has created a lot of impact on the global market, global business. It is not just specific to any country. Across global, all countries are struggling. So recently, Small and Medium Group conducted a survey, and which resulted in extremely, devastating, output that a lot of business has been impacted because of the COVID situation. However, taking to the context of this webinar, we will be more focused to the top three business aspect of that. Personal business, personal related industries, especially the business that more related to human, enhancing human life, are heavily impacted because of the lockdown. The second and third most things are the logistics and manufacturing companies are heavily impacted. Logistics has been impacted 95% of that, and manufacturing up to 90%. And we know that all manufacturing is stopped, all logistic companies are stopped because of the lockdown and curfew situations across global, especially in the APAC region. And another input from the market is that, or the prediction by the expert is that this COVID situation is not like a stop. It's not going to stop in day one or upcoming day. It's going to continue and slowly decrease that from the slowly disappear from the global. And this is as it's slowly disappearing, the virus is slowly disappearing from the global. The market also will slowly increase their presence. The business will come back slowly. So it is not going to be a one day that everything is going to be restarted. It is a gradual process. So this is going to impact the revenue up to 30% for the next 6 months, is what predicted. So revenue is going to be definitely impacted for all. Revenues right now stopped. It's continue to be impact for next 6 to 1 year period. That's a prediction that identified by the expert in this group. So what is going to happen next? Gartner, the world best market analyst, predicted that 40 to 50% of the workforce only will available or only will not be available for the functions as we do business for next 1 year or 1.5 years. That means people are still going to be in some state of unavailability. So this is going to impact the production. It is going to impact the business operations. The workforce is not going to be available, so business cannot kick off or restart and run at top speed as usual, right? The business has to wait, gradually has to improve it. So what is going to be the phases that we are going to go through for another year and a half? We probably will start with 50% of the workforce as part of the recovery phase. The recovery phase is where we go back to business, start operating slowly. We'll start where we left 3-4 months back, and we'll be continuing to gradually start it. But we will be spending a lot of time the survival aspect of that. The survival is going to be another year and a half. Any business is not going to look at or not going to think about expanding the business or producing new products to the newer market. Business is going to spend time on survivals. So how do we recover from the financial loss? How do we start operating at full capacity? How do we get order? How do we deliver on time? How do we generate revenue is what the biggest challenge that everybody is going to go through. And survival is the biggest phase that we are going to go through before we think about scalability. But eventually, yeah, we are all confident that the business will go into scalable. But survival is the phase that we are going to go through. And how do we recover in the survival phase? So by looking at the global industry market, as the global industry is completely shut down, it's not just specific to one country. The global it is happily shut down. It's not specific to a small business. The enterprises are shut down. So enterprises and small business, everybody is shut down. Now, enterprises has the capacity and financial background to kick off and restart and then run. So they will, but at the same time, they also going to go through the sustainability business because they also needs to, sustain what they were doing or before COVID situation, and then they have to start doing that at the full scale. So they may not have the workforce, so they cannot do that at the full scale. So they need to think about a different way. One of the key things that's going to change across the global is the manufacturing changes. So far, the manufacturing being outsourced for many countries to other countries because of this COVID situation. Every country, the manufacturing has been stopped, and every country, the inbound products have been stopped. The consumer purchase has been went down significantly. The retail business has been stopped. The logistic has been stopped because of the purchase is not happening. So all of them are pushing the companies to think about localized manufacturing or domestic manufacturing. So everybody started thinking about how do we bring the manufacturing to closer to the control. rather than depending on some other countries. That's number one scope that every enterprise is going to start looking at that. The second one is the transparency of the supply chain. Because of these current situations, there is a clear indication that the supplies are not going to happen faster. So when the supplies are not going to happen faster, the planning and execution cannot happen faster. So we need a more visibility on the supply chain. So business are started looking at the supply chain transparency. Even supply chain companies has to give the transparency to the business, to the consumers or to the customers, to give the visibility on the transparency. Third, the most important thing is reducing the operational expenditure. The operating as we business has been stopped. We are in a financial crisis and we need to recover from that. We need to reduce the cost of operations. That's going to be the biggest focus for everybody, including the enterprises and the small business. Now, what will result of this expectations are more and more automations are going to be triggered. The more automation is better, the reduced workforce is pushing the enterprises or small business to start thinking about automations. As the workforce are not available, they have to run a business, they have to start thinking about automations. They have to think about, when you're thinking about automation, they have to think about how do we connect to the factories, connect to the systems, or connecting to their trucks and tracking those availability and the transportation efficiencies. So connecting to the factory, connecting to the logistic tracking are going to be the major boom or need of the any enterprise business or the small business as well. Real-time operational details is very, very important for business to understand what is happening today in my business rather than happening after 1 month, after 2 months. Because to recover from this crisis, financial crisis, and understand where my business is going to be, even a small business has to think about what I'm doing today, what is my operational efficiency today, how much I have been utilizing the workforce, what is my output of the workforce, how much I can save the money by reducing my workforce or maybe automating the workforce or understanding the efficiency of the workforce. So the operational improvement and metrics are going to have a bigger need at this scale. The sustainability need all these efforts, or sustainability will push the business to take all these steps. So all these steps are highly possible, highly good for enterprise business. But smaller and medium business, they will survive or they are going to face the challenges that they were facing before, and also they were going to have more impact now. Number one, they may not have a supplies faster. They may not know the demand forecasting. They have a reduced workforce. They may not have full capacity to run. The business machineries are going to run. The trucks are going to be parked, and the assets are going to consume the cost, the running cost. The unplanned maintenance activities are going to push them to shut down again. So all these things are going to create a bigger impact for these smaller and medium businesses. Apart from these primary impacts, there are other impacts that traditionally that they have. They have lack of IT capacity. Not every small and medium business has an IT capacity. Few people that support their IT. They may not have full IT capacity to understand all these challenges and how to face those challenges. They have a global competition because all the enterprises are shut down now, and enterprises will come back with full swing, and the small and medium business has to run the business by competing or providing information to the enterprises, to the enterprise customers. So global competition is going to push everybody to get into a faster space. Lack of operational information is going to impact them that what decision they can take today to survive in the market. Manually they are operating. Most of the small and medium business, either manufacturing or logistics or any other utility business, they're all operating in a manual mode. Then all manual operations need a lot of workforce. Now reduced workforce is going to impact the manual operations. The time is going to take more to complete a job. That means they need to start thinking about how do we do this small stuff in an automated way. So even a small and medium companies should think about automation at this enforced reduced workforce timeline to survive and sustain in the market. Okay, how do we overcome this challenge for the small business? How the small business can overcome this challenge? The number one difference between the enterprise and then the smaller companies from the operating aspect of that. Enterprises are more strategic. They more go towards the strategic approach. They plan it and they execute it. The small and medium business more tactical. They go and handle that on a day-to-day basis or on a particular periodic basis. So they are not strategical traditionally. So now this is a time for small business and medium business start thinking strategically on how do we handle this situation, how do we, what steps that we need to take it up to take my business from the survival mode to the enhanced mode or to the next level of scalability. uh, so running locally may not help at this time, as because the region to region the lockdowns are going to vary. So locally running is going to create an impact. We need to start looking at the production that addressing a global market or regional market. So small and medium companies are start thinking about how do we handle this situation strategically. So what is that they need to look at as? Number one, they have to look at the workforce efficiency, improve the workforce efficiency, the people, the capability of the people, and the process that they are following through people, right? The manual work efficiency has to be automated. The process has to be fine tuned. The technology adoption has to be much bigger to compete on the market. So the technology adoption need not be like a huge investment in technology. It can be a small changes that they can adapt to improve their process or improve their workforce efficiency to scale up. So workforce improvement, process improvement, technology improvement. All those three components has to be looked at strategically by the small, even a small business. So start thinking about how do we improve myself? How do we improve myself? How do we improve myself? That's the only way to increase the efficiency. The increasing the efficiency is resulting in increasing the operational, reducing the operational expenditure and increasing the productivity. When you reduce the operational expenditure and increase the productivity, obviously the profitability is going to increase. The increasing profitability will help the small and medium business to recover from the financial loss that they are going through for the past 4 or 5 months. So operational efficiency is the only answer that going to help the small and medium business to survive out of this COVID situation. How do we improve the operational efficiency? That's where the industrial IoT is going to play a major role. So far, the industrial IoT or IoT has been seen as a technology advancement that may be applicable, adaptable only for enterprises. Only enterprises start thinking about how do we adapt IoT solutions or IoT based technologies to get some metrics. But this COVID situation pushing all of us to all small and medium business, even to start thinking about how do we collect the real-time data? How do we analyze the data? How do we understand what is my operational efficiency? How do I capture those data to take some intelligent decision out of that? How do I understand where is my supply? Where is my supply? Where is my delivery? How do I understand what is my production of efficiency? So all these informations are in hand is required. So industrial IoT is going to play a major role after this COVID situation to help the small, medium, and even the enterprises to sustain in their market. So how the IoT helps? IoT things do three things, right? Generally, they connect to existing machineries or process. They help to collect the real-time data. They also provide the capability to identify and identify the intelligence or actionable intelligence out of which. So connect, analyze. So all three of them are the fundamental of the IoT, right? But the industrial IoT is going to give little more on top of that. So let me talk about how this can be adapted in the small business at later point. But at this time, the industrial IoT is going to help you to collect the data at real time, collect the efficiency and run rate at real time, understand what is happening in your machineries, in your trucks, how the trucks are operating, how your delivery is happening, how your utilities are operating. So collecting that and understanding the maintenance predictions, increasing the workforce efficiency by giving insights to them on the quality checks, helping them to do that, giving more visibility to the business operators, managers, floor managers to understand how the process is executing, and giving more metrics on the operational efficiency, effectiveness of the effective utilization of the equipments, and the qualities, right? The scanning and operate and predictions are happening, which help to understand how much quality that can have product can be generated out of this current, the process, and helping to achieve the automation processes. Because when we reduce workforce, we need to start thinking about how do we reduce the manual effort, how do we increase the efficiency of the current workforce. So that's where we need to start thinking about automations. So all of them are going to help the business to start thinking about how do I improve the efficiency, how do I excel myself to survive in the current market. So collecting the data, analyzing the data, and then predicting the operational condition, and helping the business or the expert to identify the improvement opportunities are the only way to improve the efficiency of the business to sustain in the market. So what is the value that industrial IoT is going to pose to that? So as we talked about, right? So this is one of the survey conducted by Morgan Stanley as part of the automation efficiency that produced by the IoT. The number one value that industrial IoT, providing to any size of business is improving the operational efficiency. The second most is the improving the productivity. These two things will directly resulting in reduced operational cost, increasing efficiency in productivity efficiency, and overall improving operational efficiency will help to improve the profitability directly. If it is improving the profitability directly, that means it can help us to recover from the financial losses faster. The faster the recovery, the better for the business to continue on the business and scale up into the scalability. So either small business or medium business or the large enterprises has to start thinking about the operational efficiency at this COVID situation. That's where the Industry 4.0 is enforcing into. Industry 4.0 is all about improving the efficiency of the existing industrial operations. Prior to COVID, this concept was more theoretical. Now, this is a mandatory for the business to adapt into the operational efficiency by applying the industrial IoT-based solutions. Industrial IoT-based solutions can only help them to collect the data and analyze that, and then providing insights for them to improve the operational efficiency. Of course, the AI and blockchains, those kind of additional capabilities are going to help any business to be more efficient, more intelligent. But the fundamental thing for even to execute the machine learning or the blockchains, you need a real-time data from the field, from the machineries, for which industrial IoT is the fundamental for that. And thanks for watching this webinar, and have a good day.